Hi, it's Lucy here, and today I'm going to be creating with Uniquely Creative's Blossom and Bloom collection. I'm just going to do a quick run through so you can see what's in the kit because it's absolutely gorgeous. These are some vellum creative cuts, and I know some people have some problems trying to get them off because they're adhesive. All you do is roll them like I just did, and it comes off really easily. So no fingernails needed. The collections come out monthly and can be bought on a monthly subscription, which saves you money, or you can buy them from the 5th of that month. You can choose a card baking kit or the 12 by 12 kit, which I use, or you can buy everything individually. I have links to the Uniquely Creatives website below and also to this new collection. I'll link that separately, and to all the other products that I've used in this video as well, which to be honest isn't a lot. You don't need a lot of supplies to make a lot of the cards that I make because most of it is just making the most out of the gorgeous pattern papers. It's also good to know that Uniquely Creative ship internationally as well. These are some more of their dies, and they go perfectly with this paper, but you could also die cut those out square if you wanted to, or just cut them out manually if you don't have the arch dies. But all of these papers are just so beautiful, aren't they? And that's a lot of fussy cutting that we can do there as well. I haven't used the teacups today, but I do have one fussy cut ready to go. I have 7 cards in total to show today, 3 that I made previously, and I'm going to make 4 cards today just from one sheet of 12 by 12 paper, and hardly any other supplies, as I mentioned. Can you tell which paper that I might be using? These are 2 add-on dies as well that you can purchase separately. So this is the first card that I made for Uniquely Creative, and this is one of the creative cuts, the butterfly, and I just cut it so that it didn't have any white border, and I glued it down without gluing down its wings. And this is another one where I did some fussy cutting around as well. I do like the white borders sometimes, but I also think it's really nice to have them without it as well. So I've used lots of foam tapes and things to give that a lot of height too. And then this next one I've made for my little niece, Heidi. So I've used the little alphas, and what I did is popped them up on some little foam dots and then added glossy accents to them. So I think that one turned out super cute. And now on to the cards that I'm going to make with this 12 by 12 sheet. And first I'm going to choose roughly where I want to chop the paper. I'd like some floral part on each of the 3 cards, and I'll then create something different with the scraps that are left over, which I think might be my favourite card in the end. So I hope you'll stay around to see it all. With this first card, it's a C5 size card, which is 21 by 15 centimeters approximately, or 8¼ inches by 5 7/8 of an inch. And I'm using some rose gold thick card here to just create that border. I think I have probably made one of these type of card designs in one of my previous videos, but I really love how they look. So I'm going to use some of that vellum florals as well, so I'll just cut off where I needed it to. And then I'm going to use my Sizzix die cutting machine, the electronic one, and what I've done is just pressed it so that it goes back and forward. So with this rose gold card, it's quite thick, and so that way I just know that all of the little pieces are going to be cut out perfectly. I will have a link to that machine if you're interested below as well. It is an American because it is Sizzix and they're in America, but you can buy it at Spotlight here in Australia. but I'll put the link to the Sizzix one in America. So as I've done here with these butterflies, I've just rolled them again off the backing. So they're adhesive, they're easy, they're like washi tape, so you can easily pick them back up again if you want to, if you need to move them around. And I'm using my glue pen from Uniquely Creative as well, but you can use glue as well if you like, but that just makes sure that I don't add too much glue, and that's important when you're putting sentiments together sometimes, because if you can see glue coming out the sides, it doesn't look as nice. So I've just used some Nuvo drops as well, and then that card is finished. And on to the next one. Oh, and I also used the rhinestones as well for the bodies of the butterflies. So this one's a super simple, easy card. I used a rectangle die and a scalloped rectangle die. I'm using the same sentiment for each of the cards today so that you can see you don't need to change it up too much, and you can still create 4 different cards at the end of it. So I fussy cut that flower bunch as well, and I've added that butterfly. If I had my time over, I'd probably move the butterfly a little bit to the left and up a little, but because I glued the sentiment down, it's too late to make that change, and it's fine as it is. So with this floral one, you could have it on both sides, and so it's a matter of deciding where I think looks best. So I'm going to cut it out with my stitched rectangle die again, and then add some vellum florals on the left side and one at the top as well. And this way it kind of looks like the paper has all of these florals all around it, and yet really it was only one set that is actually part of the paper. So I think it's, yeah, the papers are just absolutely beautiful with these florals. I love them. What do you think? I'm thinking about doing something similar to this video each month to show you the Uniquely Creative collections and make sure that my YouTube viewers don't miss out, as they sometimes sell out quickly. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me do this with each collection. I love to know what you all like to see, and I had an overwhelming request for mail cards, so I will definitely keep making them for you all. So now I'm on to the next card, and this is using the scraps. I've die cut the center rectangle, and now I'm cutting 4 2cm strips of the leftover paper. I'm not sure what the name is of this shape of card that I'm creating. Please let me know if you know the name of it. But what I'm going to do is I'm using my scoring board, and I'll score around the center piece, which equates to 10 centimeters, roughly 4 inches. And then I'm going to score at 2.5 centimeters after that on each side, or 1 inch, a couple of times on each side. I'll use my bone folder to flatten down the card edges as well. And I won't cut off the extra parts of the card until I'm ready. I've cut the strips to the same length as the center rectangle to create cohesiveness on all sides of the card. And I'm just going to cut off a slither of the card base because I feel like it was just a little bit larger than the rectangle that I die cut. This die cut one has a stitched border as well. Those and the scalloped dies that I used before, they're all from Uniquely Creative, and I will add the links to that as well in the descriptions. So I've cut off the edges that I didn't need, and I'll use those for scraps at another time. And I've just used my double-sided tape to add all of the sides and the centerpiece. And so now I'm just going to play around with trying to decide, and I really love this little fairy with it. I think this will make it another great child's card because they love the different shapes on a card. So I'm just going to fussy cut her out a little bit more, and I've got some washi tape vellum here. It's part of the Vellum Creative Cuts pack, and I'll cut it to fit my little columns so the fairy doesn't look like she's just floating. I know fairies can fly, but she looks like she's actually standing upright. I'm going to tear a bit off, and then I can use those extra bits for the top of the columns as well, instead of just throwing them away, and I think that looks quite nice. I also have a bit of the vellum strip left, so I'll tear that to suit my card and use that to complement the vellum part on the right hand column. It kind of looks like a continuation of that. I decided to add some more vellum florals to the top right hand side, so I took the butterfly away. It would have been easier to add it before I adhered the paper to the card base, so I could just cut off the excess, but I will just cut it to a 90-degree angle so I can add it to that corner. And then as I've got that little bit left over from where I cut it, I'll add that to just behind the fairy as well. And I think that looks quite cute. I'll add some foam tape to one side of her where she's going to be sticking out from the side of the card, but I won't glue or do anything to the other side of her because she's just going to be hanging off. And now I decide that the fairy will need a little friend as well on the other side, so I'm going to use the other one. I love how both of them are looking inwards on opposite sides, so they can either be on the side of the card or they can be on the sides of a center embellishment. I've shown in previous videos how I bend the butterfly's wings and just glued down the body, which gives them a bit of life rather than gluing them down flat. And then I'm just going to add some Nuvo drops to their little floral head garments and to the butterfly as well. And so I'll just show you close-ups here. So I hope you've enjoyed all of these cards that I've shown. You'll see them all again now, and I'll also try to put them on my Instagram page too. So underneath, that's all the items really that I used other than the paper pads. So I didn't use a lot of items in the end, and as I've mentioned, I'll have links to everything in the descriptions below. Please like this video if you've enjoyed it, and consider subscribing if you haven't already, and if you have, thank you so much. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great crafty day. Bye.